2022 Endurance eRacing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriots, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Stengolm, ESTV and Film Vault Limited.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online. Or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info. Or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN. Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the fourth round of the EEWC here at GTR 24H, mixed in with a healthy dose of Samba. Denishenko in the lead of the DPI class. Now, we were trying to figure out how much quicker David Mrocek needs to be to overhaul that gap. Well, let's have a look at how they currently stand. Now, David Mrocek is 52 seconds back. 53 seconds depending on where they are in the lap. Now, last time around, Denishenko was a 20.9. Bear in mind, he's just crossed the line just as that graphic popped up. Now, last lap for Mrocek was a 20.1. So 0.8 of a second difference. That's in the region of where he needs to be. Now, of course, every time he doesn't hit that, the target becomes more difficult to reach. As a 20.2 time around, so that's 0.7. That's a bit less than where he needs to be. What the Burst Squad really do with is a mistake from the 17 car. And the 17 car just needs to not make a major mistake. So there's pressure on both sides, for this. The Unison Racing just needs to keep it clean, which is harder said than done when you've been going for this many hours, and 18 just needs to throw caution to the wind and absolutely get on with it. Unfortunately, the rest of our classes, we don't have that kind of comparison to run, because the LMP cars, as you can see, they're 2 laps apart per car. So there's 5 laps in between Aldermenger and Pound, and 2 laps between Pound and Pervian at the moment. And in the GTEs, there's 2 laps between the DIS car and the MCM car of Aguado, and then another 10 laps or something like that. So not quite that many, but 10 laps from lead to Joao Barbosa in the Deuce's car. And another 3 laps to Eros Massioli, and then another 3 laps again to Marcus Steyer. Now again, that sounds derogatory, and I'm not meaning it in that kind of sense. It's just that is how big the lead is, as you can see on the panel in front of you, with, of course, we having lost the 717 earlier on. And the GT3s, they're not on the same lap either. They're 1 lap apart. So 1 lap between the Azatec and the Glam Racing car, and 2 laps back to the Gatchahusa car. So we don't have the same comparison that we can draw between each classes, other than this impending battle between Unison and Burst. But bad news for Burst, they were slower than Ishenko. Marocek actually lost not even a tenth, but considering they have to gain nearly a second a lap every lap for the remaining time we have, losing any time whatsoever is just going to make that target even more difficult. So that's why we were thinking that 17 has to make a mistake. But saying that, there was a 21-8 for Ashenko last time around. Let's see what Marocek gets on the board, and that's probably because of the traffic that we now see behind Denis Ashenko. There's the Gadget Husik card directly there. Let's see what Devin Marocek gets on the board. He's just about to cross the line with a 20.5, so we gained 1.3 seconds on that occasion around, and the 7-9 Axel car has just got themselves a penalty. That'll be a drive-through penalty issued by the server. So as we had nothing come through from race control, so that's a automatic drive-through penalty for them. I think they'll remain in third, though. They'll still be on for a podium finish. The Devon Marocek gained 1.3 seconds on that last lap around, keeping the hope alive for Burst to challenge for that top spot. So what can they do? They get oops, and Marocek gets a little bit squiggly there. And he's got to be really feeling it. Bearing in mind, this isn't Marocek's first session in the car. He's been in the car earlier on in the race, and he's been going like an absolute madman to try and close that gap down. And I have a message just popped up. Who's giving me a message? And the lovely Maria has given me a message indicating, is she in the green room? She is. Production, would you please move the Glam Racing boss over? At your earliest convenience? And there she is. Maria, are you with us?
Hello.
Well, hello, lovely lady. Thank you very much again for spending the time to come and have a chat to us. Is the cat all right?
Yes, actually, just as I came into the green room, the cat came into the office.
Oh,
yes.
Good. We need to make sure that that Roland is fine. So, how did Mr. Hoyer live up to expectation?
He's my husband and he's behind me, so I have to say yes.
Well, he doesn't know the question I asked until he catches up with it in the stream, so...
Well, yes, of course, everyone does. Well, we drive our pace and we know our drivers, so everyone is doing the best they can, and I'm just happy that we are here.
That's a great answer indeed. So Lee is out there in the car at the moment. He's the quickest GT3 by quite some distance. So you did say that Lee Russell would be absolutely bossing it in the
and also
dark
hands
hours.
up for Lee. He's been working 12 hours today and comes on now, and
wow, he's done a 12-hour shift and then he's doing this.
Yeah,
That's where's he? Is he based in the UK?
Yeah, he's based in the UK.
So it's 11 in the UK right now. So is he in the car to the end?
Yes, he's in the car to the end.
Wow, so he's going to be going to 1 a.m. our time.
Yeah.
That's a dedicated man. Is he working tomorrow or can he sleep?
It's Lee. He always works. He never sleeps.
He's a machine.
Yeah, he basically is. I used to call him like undercover agent because we don't know who he is and how he looks. We just know he can drive.
There's rumors of his existence, but there's no photographic evidence.
If you look at the profile picture, you'll see
it's blank. I noticed that. Yeah, so he's Mr. Enigma.
No one knows who he is. We don't know if he's a real person or a robot, so we just know he can drive.
Wow. The enigmatic Lee Russell. Love it. Absolutely love it. So after a race like this, assuming that Glam Racing doesn't have any kind of further issues, what do you kind of go through a debriefing session? Do you review the race and see how things can be improved? What kind of process does Glam Racing go through post-event?
Well, first we just go to bed because we're shattered.
Good idea.
And then yes, we do have we try to have weekly like talk and training sessions on Sunday, and where we get together, and we usually will do like a how did it go, what do we expect, but again we know everyone is performing the best they can, and I'm not the type of person who will yell at someone because I know if they made a mistake or not, and I'm not judging. I'm just here to have fun there as well, and yeah, shit happens sometimes. So, but yeah, we do go through it and talk about it. But yeah, most of the time, we go through it in different space, different like. I would say it's an amazing race, and then we have someone who says, no, I didn't do the best I can, and I'll be like, yeah, you didn't, no, I didn't, and then okay, we never. Yeah.
You're the mother of the team, basically. You're there to provide the emotional support. Yeah, good on you. That is great to hear. And you've been feeding me various bits of information, which has been very, very useful. Thank you very much throughout the stream. Including the picture of something that made me chuckle earlier. You gave me a picture of Roller, which we haven't had a chance to use, and you felt the need to tell me that he does have legs. he's in that typical curled up pose that any cat owner knows. He's a big lad, isn't he?
He is 9 years old.
Oh, okay. So that's not particularly old in cat years. It's sort of middle age. The cat. Whoa! I thought that was your car going for a wander then. No, that's ours. Replay of Denis Sashenko going for a bit of an explore. I just suddenly looked up and saw a car bouncing over the AstroTurf at Desida del Lago there. Ah, goodness me. Well, again, Maria, it's a great pleasure to have you in the box with us. Your presence always is welcome. And best of luck for the remaining time for the 404.
And actually, you have done the biggest stint of. You say to all of us drivers, you've done big stints. You know, you did the longest. You have done 10 hours now.
Yes.
You're actually the champion here.
Oh no! I just turn up and shout for a while.
Exactly.
I don't have the complicated technical part. That's down to Peter Munkholm back at base. That's down to our race control enthusiasts.
Who also does amazing job. They all really do, and I know how much they work, and I talk to you and I talk to Peter, and I know how much work they put into this, and I just. From Glam Racing, we just really want to say thank you guys, because without you, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be racing here. So I just think they just need to be. Yeah, thank you.
It's very much appreciated. Thank you, Maria. We do it for the love of doing it, but it's always nice when we get. Praise like that. It means we're doing our job right. So thank you very much, Maria, and best of luck for the remaining time for 404 Glam Racing. Thank you very much.
Ciao.
Ciao indeed. Right, let's check in then with our remaining cars then, as I was a bit worried because I've just noticed David Mrocek's camera's turned off, so I wondered if he'd suddenly had a problem, but no, he's still going. And when I looked up and saw Denis Sachenko bouncing over the AstroTurf at was a Desili de Lago, that must have been quite a hairy moment. And speaking of Mrocek, looks like he's coming in right behind ID Simsport. That's probably why I think he's handed the car over to Jene Simoncic. That's probably why his camera's gone off, because he's probably signing off, and wouldn't blame him either, as time is rolling on. But yeah, that must have been a bit of a scary moment for Denis Sachenko. Into the pits comes the number 18. Now, will that be a driver change? I suspect it will be. And that is probably going to be the last change of the night for the 18 car. And yes, that's Mrocek then signing out of the call, and suspect then that Jene Simoncic will be taking over the number 18 car for its final driver change of the night. I did see Cameron Roger is looming, so it looks like he might be taking over the 94, the second of the best cars, so the one that's leading the race at the moment. We will see. Again, we don't know what the plans are for our teams. We have to kind of roll with it when we see the drivers change. And that's still got David's name on it. No, Jene Simoncic has indeed taken over the number 18 car. So that driver change happened as I thought it would. And away goes the number 18 best esports DPI car. Screams out of the pits, well, roars out of the pits, I should say, and back onto the racetrack. What can they do? An hour and 3/4 to go, and certainly another couple of laps, another couple of pit stops probably for the Unison racing car. Kind of depends on how well they're doing with their fuel. Certainly at least one, because the DPI cars cannot go. I think the limit's around about 75-ish minutes, so even Burst are cutting that a bit fine if I've got that guess anywhere near correct. So Jene may have to do a bit of fuel saving towards the end as he catching the back of the Azatec car of Maciej Kasperczyk. An easy move on the inside line coming through turn 1. And Lee Russell is absolutely bossing it in the 404 car, considering the man's done a 12-hour shift and then come to do this until 1 o'clock in the morning UK time. That is pretty impressive. Still, it wasn't quite the fastest GT3 car that time around, but he's got out there and got straight on with the job. There is Jene Simoncic fresh into the car, so can he continue the blistering pace that we saw from Mrocek last time around? That's going to be the golden question, and we won't know that for a little while, because of course this is the first lap out of the pits for Simoncic, so keep an eye on how he's able to do. Still 21.4s coming out from Denis Sachenko. We know that he's done quicker laps than that, but is he starting to feel the strain? Is there needing to be a driver change for the 17 car? Can they hold on for the remaining time to take the DPI win? We will see in 1 hour and 41 minutes as Simoncic catches the back of Lee Russell. Oh, Struth! That was he was eager to get that move done. You don't often see an outside maneuver coming through Mugello, but he's made it stick. A 22-0 for Eshenko. Now these laps are all going to count, because now that Simoncic is on there, unless he's a little bit off the pace they need, those laps which are slower than Eshenko's done in the past, it could well hurt. A 20.2 for Simoncic, so almost 2 seconds gain there. So Simoncic is certainly able to maintain the similar kind of pace that we saw from Mrocek. It's really going to be up to Unison now to respond to that. Well, it's impossible for the 17 car to go on without stopping again. It absolutely must stop at least once. I reckon the DPIs have got to stop at minimum once. If they stretch out the last in, they might avoid a last minute splash and dash, because I've got 75 minutes in my head as how long they can go on for. Actually, no, that wouldn't do it. That's still too short. So they have to pit, I would think, at least twice. So it's going to be very, very close. I reckon the 17 car would have a better chance of trying to eke out the fuel and the tyres and what have you to make it one less stop. But we'll see what they plan to do. I could be completely off base as we see Denis Sashenko catching up to Tom Oldermenger, the race leader in the Burst Esports race leading LMP2 car. There is Yanni Simoncic. So it was a 21.0 for Sashenko last time around, and that was a 20.5. So only half a second difference that last time around. It wouldn't quite be enough at the pace we think he needs to maintain to overhaul to regain the DPI lead. But so much can still happen, of course, in the remaining hour and a half. Have to keep an eye on whether they are able to hang on to keep that going. Oh, just spotted your message there, Cameron. Thank you very much for that. I will say, whilst I appreciate the positive thoughts towards my own efforts, it's not just me that is doing this. We've got Peter in control of the cameras, John in control of doing race control, or John and Paulo and Hele, all part of the race control team. It is not just myself that is part of the broadcast. We are a team. We rise and fall as a team. So I play my part. I do the shouty bit into the microphone, which in my opinion is the easiest part of the lot. I don't have all the technical things to worry about and trying to batter the technology into working. I just have to try and keep my throat from burning. And to keep you lovely people entertained. And try and not spout the same fact 300 times, which I know I'm very guilty of, and again, apologies for that. Oh, crikey, Denis Sashenko has got himself some traffic. Who's he got? Well, he's still behind Tom Oldermenger. And he's just worked his way past, I think it's the DIS car. Couldn't quite see who else was in there. Oh, the 166, the ID Sport car is in there. Quite a few cars that Denis has had to work through, but that would have definitely cost him time on this lap. So, whilst the number 18 is technically over a lap behind at the moment, the pit stops have been fairly similarly timed. You have a really itchy nose, I'm sorry. I also try not to sneeze. That's the other reason you'll see me itching my nose on occasion. I have a fan blowing next to me. I have done all race long, but unfortunately it causes me to sneeze. So trying my best not to sneeze down the microphone, because no one wants to hear that. And Shanko's still behind the Burst LMP2. That was a 23.0 that time from Denis Sashenko. That was mainly traffic, far more than it is the Burst LMP2. A 119.7 from Yanni Simoncic. Struth. There we go. No, Tom Oldermenger, he gets a bit of a punch in the face from Denis Sashenko there. That was more of a mistake. That wasn't a mistake, not a malicious move, but it was a bit of an untidy overtake there. So there you can see on the top screen there. So Sashenko jumps out from behind Oldermenger. It looks like actually Oldermenger bounces off of. Yeah, it looks like that was a mistake from Oldermenger rather than from Sashenko there, because Sashenko was perfectly allowed to make the move. He's unlapping himself from a competitor, and it looks like Tom just turned in. Man, you can't do that. You can't try and shut a door with the car already in it, and Sashenko was nose ahead at the time. So that was a mistake on the behalf of Tom Oldermenger, but he clearly hasn't lost a lot of time. He's right there. He's still right behind, and it looks like Denis Sashenko was coming in. This is on board with Tom. He didn't know he was there. He probably hadn't realised that the move was happening, and but he didn't lose a lot of time, as you can see. And I think Denis is in. Yes, Denis Sashenko has come in. So with that storming lap from Yanni Simoncic last time around, and with a few compromise laps from Denis Sashenko there, that's really reinvigorating the DPI lead battle. Now they were in the region of, was it 48 seconds, I think, before Yanni came in, before David came in. I think it was in that kind of region. So we'll see what the gap is when Denis Ishchenko gets back on the road again. And there it is, look. It could have been that Ishchenko understeered into the side of Tom there. We need to see it from slightly further back. As we have a great drone camera there, and out comes Ishchenko. That was short. That was a short stop there, so 43 seconds. So there's no tyres gone on that car this time around. And out of the pits. Now, what is the gap? It's about 47 seconds. So it's kind of returned to what it was before David handed that car over to Simoncic, and that was a 21.7, so it wasn't a strong lap from Burst that time around. Again, probably caught some of the traffic that Denis Ishchenko has not long been through. Well, actually on track, so just about to cross over the line, so that wouldn't be quite the case. Lap 20.4. So, assuming no more pit stops, which there was certainly going to be another one, it's in the 7/10 region. I think he's going to need to do better than that to make sure that, assuming there's going to be at least one more stop, and I've got a funny feeling they're going to need to stop twice before the end of the race. The last one might be quite short, a bit of a splash and dash, but I got the feeling that we're going to see both cars come in, unless the number 17 is going to really try and eke out their last one. There is a chance of that Ishchenko will try and extend the last stint, so he saves on a pit stop, and that would save nearly a minute. So it's worth trying if we can do it. But we saw the number 15 run out of fuel, so it is a risky thing to do. But I mean, if nothing else, you could argue that on pace alone they were going to finish behind Burst. So what have they got to lose? Well, they still have the race win to lose, and if they still win, that makes the points deficit that much easier to try and overhaul in the remaining 2 rounds of the season. So again, there's different ways of looking at it. The gap now is 43 seconds. So let's see what the lap times were. 20.426. So again, a consistent lap time from Yerny Simoncic. And we'll see what Denis Ishchenko gets when he comes over the line once again. We only have his outlap time from last time. And we are getting to the bottom of another hour, just 1.5 hours remaining of this 12-hour race. There is Denis Ishchenko, and he's gotten past someone. That's the DIS car. And that's the yellow flag for Darius Andre, who's taken over the 15. So he's had a bit of a spin, but he's back out. He's back on track again. You would have to lose 2 whole laps to be challenged by Josh Perrin. Oh, only a 10th difference. 20.531 from Ishchenko that time. That was a very strong lap. Only a 10th difference. It was a good lap from Simoncic, but only a 10th up. So where on earth did that come from, considering that's been a bit of a problem for the 17 car. Their lap times have been very inconsistent, and not necessarily a huge criticism. They have had a lot of traffic to deal with, but that's been one of the defining factors on how that gap has just suddenly, it will suddenly come down, then it might peter out a bit, and suddenly come down again. As the 18 car, who also, in fairness, has had slightly inconsistent laps at time, they've been able to keep more of a consistent lap time going from lap on lap on lap. And that's a 20.6. So Simoncic was slower than Ishchenko's previous lap. So have the best gone out of the number 18 car's tyres. Bear in mind that we think the 17 didn't take tyres last time around. They suddenly bang in that absolutely storming lap. Yeah, interesting. Still an hour and a half to go, though. Still plenty to play out. The remaining time we've got. Let's see what Ishchenko's lap time was. 20.5 again. So they're actually quicker the last time around. But we are at the bottom of the hour. Whoops. That's what happened to Darius Andre. He dropped it coming through. Yeah, so that's what happened to the Juice's car. He's dropped it coming through. So Brain's gone. I've been calling Brain has definitely gone. Desila Del Lago, yeah, of course it is. So with that replay done, let's have another word from our commercial sponsors.
The 2022 Endurance eRacing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flicks, Motorvision.tv, Sten Goldman, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN. Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the EEWC round number 4, the 12 hours of Interlagos. 1.5 hours left on the clock now, or just under, and Darius Andre has had a few more issues in the number 15 car. Let's see what's happened during the break. He's had another problem down at Desida de Lago, hasn't he? Yes, that's taking your eye off the ball a little bit. So he was already looking at the apex and how he was going to get past the GT car he was catching up to, not noticing how far over he'd wandered. Oh dear. I thought he was weaving for a second there, but he hasn't come into the pits. Well, he hasn't come into the pits this time. Not sure if he pitted after the incident. No, he didn't, as production are telling me. So, oh dear, that's not ideal. Trying to see if the car is okay. That's what the weaving is for, to see if the car is actually responding in a way that it should be. But on he goes nonetheless. We'll see what he can do. Alright, so let's check in with our DPI car, shall we? Before I do that, I just had another couple of messages. Let's see what they are. We've got no damage from that crash somehow, was the message I got given. How the hell did you avoid that? Considering the clunk to the wall, how on earth you got away with no damage? That's miraculous, quite frankly. Or you've built your car out of absolute breeze blocks or something. This is it again. But what's happened here is that Darius is a little bit too far over, and they just touched the grass, and they get catapulted into the wall, and they had no damage from that. Wow. Talk about good fortune. Now, in our DPI battle, gap is down to 40.5 seconds. As Denishenko is just a little bit caught up there behind, I think that's the Juice's car. Yes, that's the Juice's Aston Martin. No, the one he's just passed is Glam, the one before that was Juice's. So there's Denishenko again at 22.0, so he had traffic on that lap. So that is, and amazingly, I've just because there's a pit stop for Tom Allmendinger, I've just noticed that now Denishenko is on the same lap as the Burst 94 car, but that's why. Oh no, another incident for Darius Andre. That was a yellow flag in the midst of sector 2 by the look. So that car may well be more wounded than they initially thought. 1.4 seconds to Simoncic's advantage that time around. That's coming up towards the S's. And what's the other? Oh, that was really strange. That just suddenly snapped. Oh, what a recovery! That was spot on. Well done, Darius Andre. Right. Bonus points for style. Like it. There's Denishenko getting caught out behind. Well, saying caught out, it looked like he may well have gotten past the Gadget Husic car okay. But he certainly lost time last time around. We lost 1.4 seconds on the previous lap to Simoncic. The gap now is down to 35 seconds. A 23.5 for Denishenko. He definitely lost a lot of time there. The gap now in the well under 40 seconds. Let's see what Simoncic has on the board. Oh, another message coming in. Can we get a lap back if Darius does a 360 on the start finish line for the fans? Yeah, it's kind of not my decision, I'm afraid. 20.7 for Simoncic, so just under 3 seconds difference there. Oh, Denishenko! Denishenko, what have you done? The car 166 has just got a warning for ignoring blue flags. That's the ID Simsport car. But Denishenko has just made a potential huge mistake. What did they do? Riding on board with the Unison car. That's the S's again. Oh, he's gone in hard, and there goes the tail. But he kind of caught it. It wouldn't have cost him as much time as I thought it would have done, but it's still not ideal. As these little mistakes creeping in, it does dent the confidence a little bit. You second guess yourself a little bit more, especially with fatigue that will certainly be kicking in at this late stage. A 21.8 for Denishenko last time around. It's still doable. It's going to be a hard push for Burst to do it, but it's still possible. So the 17 car just has to keep it clean, which at this late stage is getting harder and harder to do. And that sounds like a really obvious statement, but that's what they need to do. A 20.6 for Simoncic and another yellow flag for Darius Andre. Are you sure that car's not damaged? As it is certainly proving very, very troublesome for Deuces at the moment. Now, Denishenko, what can he do? Has he got... Well, he has got the pace. We've seen him in the mid-20s in this stage of the race. So he certainly has the ability to do it. Yeah, has he got kind of enough energy left? Because I think Dennis has been in there quite some time. This is what happened again to Darius Andre. So there's the tail again. Oh, I thought he was going to try and hold the slide there. Again, would have been style points, but sadly you dropped it, so no. That's Biggie the Pato that's happened on. So the car getting quite tricky for Darius Andre to hang on to. I think this lap time may have gone back in favour of the Unison here. Looking at the gap, it hasn't really much changed from 35 seconds. So 21.7 and a 22.3. So yes, Simoncic was definitely held up there. That's going to be glorious news for the Unison squad. The longer they manage to keep that gap as high as they can, the harder it will become. It'll become impossible for the 18 Burst Esports car to actually overcome the gap if they maintain just maintain the gap. I'm saying really obvious things. I know where I am. That's all the mental energy I got left. But cracking on nonetheless. This picture is Yanni Simoncic. The main image is Denis Zechenko, and Denis Zechenko's car looks really loose. You're seeing it just basically misbehaving in a lot of corners and sparking along the ground. Over the line. 22-1 for Zechenko. What can Simoncic answer with? He's going to be over a second between them. It's got to be over a second now, with less than 1 hour 20 minutes remaining, with a stop still to do. At least one stop still to do. I just get I've got a feeling that the 17 car is going to try and eke out their fuel, so they have to do one less stop, and that's a 21-1 from Simoncic. So that was nearest damn it, bang on the second that he's gained over the Unison Racing car. At that rate, I'm not convinced that Burst can do it. This may well be the saving grace that Unison needed. It could well be close, but I think it's still going to go Unison's way. But we will keep a very close eye on that. As the time continues to tick on, time and tide wait for no man. The old phrase goes. Denis Zechenko gets around the outside of the MCM car that is in the hands of Ivan Aguado. The 21.3 for Denis Zechenko there. Yes, that's the sort of times they need to be aiming for. Certainly sub 21 would really secure the deal for them, assuming they don't make a mistake or gain any other penalties. And there's Simoncic screaming towards the line. Does he get on the board? A 20.9, so only 4 tenths difference. That is not enough. And there is Simoncic working hard, as you can see, to keep the car as fast as he possibly can. Not sure what he just grabbed there. Like it looked like he pulled a cable out or something. Oh, the car getting squiggly coming through to Cedar de Largo. And he's going to have a face full of... You can't quite tell from that distance. Ah, it's the DIS car. Oops. Nicely done for Yanni Simoncic. He wouldn't really lost any time because of the Porsche. 1.25 hours to go. 75 minutes. That's all that is left. With all the laps we've done, 459 laps for our lead car, and we have a lead battle, or a DPI class battle, that is almost 30 seconds apart, just over 30 seconds apart. Absolutely superb stuff. Only half a second between the two, though, so Unison are picking up the pace. Denisichenko, while still the slower of the two DPIs, he's maintaining enough pace, we think, to keep the top spot to themselves. However, we have seen Denisichenko do a bit of lawn mowing a little bit earlier on, so we'll see if he's able to keep the car on the straight and narrow to hold on to that top spot. Any DNFs, I noticed being asked. We had one DNF, that was the number 717 Unison Racing BMW. Unfortunately, that came to a grief about lap 77, so quite a few hours back. As the only retirement we've had from our 14-car grid. That's absolutely testament to how well our drivers have prepared for this event. The fact that all the cars bar one is still running. We think that it was an impulsive hit on the escape key that retired the number 717 in the hands at the time of Nikolai Bezrukov. As we continue to watch, Denisichenko still being chased by Yene Simoncic for the DPI lead. Now, production have run the numbers, and apparently it's 0.6 a second that Simoncic needs per lap. Is that including a pit stop in your calculations? It is. So, if that is the case, then last time around the gap was 0.7. So, and now the gap is looking like it's going to be under 30, or is on the brink of being under 30. Let's see what the lap times are now. Oh, wow, where were you going, Dennis? You were going into the stands. 21.8 for the 17 car. What about the 18? What can Simoncic get on the board this time? Looks like it's going to be a good one. Looks like the time's going to remain under 30 seconds when he climbs over the line. And this time it is a 20.5 again. This is exactly the same as it was last time around. A 1.3 second gain. That's not the car he's chasing. That's the 166 car, the ID Simsport car that is in the hands of Michael Pedersen. Yene Simoncic has just danced around. Oh, this is getting exciting. And they do it. Place your bets, people. Who's going to come out on top of this one? Now, it was about 1 hour 40, something like that, 1 hour 40, 1 hour 35, when they were last in the pits. So, if they can manage to still keep what would be about 50 minutes on the board, and that will be running it very, very tight, then they will be able to make it with just one stop. I still don't think they can. I still reckon that one of them at least will have to pit twice. And that will 100% be the losing car. If one of them has to pit twice, that's the end of the road for them. Another 20.5 for Simoncic, for 21.8 for Ishenko. Another 1.3 seconds gained by burst, or lost by Unison. I can't call it at the moment. It's going to be down to the pit stop stretch, which most races generally are, but at 1.3 seconds, it's only going to take half the remaining time, so 35 minutes for Simoncic to get there. But if he has to pit twice, that is where the difference is going to come back in. If Unison, as I suspect they're doing, can eke out just one stop left, that's where the difference will lie. But I could be totally wrong. At a rough guess, they need to pit with less than 50 minutes on the clock for that last stop to carry them through to the end of the race. We'll see who has got the strategy right. But it's less than 70 minutes. And Simicic is in. He's got to pit twice. And that's what I thought was going to be the case. That car has to come through the pits another 2 times. He's only managed 35-ish minutes, I think. I don't remember when they came through. It was around 140. That's only, 31 minutes. So he would have to pit. Yeah, he would have to pit another 2 times. But then if Ashenko can't eke out another 20 minutes on this tank, he'll have to pit twice. So it's a completely moot point. So we will see. We will absolutely see. And Ashenko has managed another 3 to 4 laps later than Simicic, as Simicic now gets underway, and that was not a full service. And Shenko is going to be just about a lap ahead, so they're going to be on track in the same kind of point, but a lap apart. As Simicic then, well, actually no, they're just still on the same lap. But it's an interesting point to observe that that's the first time that Simicic, that the burst car has come out of the pits, and the 17 car's not lapped them. So that goes to show how much they've been closing that gap down. They've actually remained on the same lap. But that was a shorter stop from Simicic. That was not a 53-second stop. I'm fairly certain of that. They might feel that the harder tyres are going to make it towards the end. They may feel the need to change them in that final stint. We will see. But the biggest question is, how far can that 17 car go? I know we're kind of ignoring the rest of the field, and we're not. I'm still keeping an eye on times. The thing is, with the rest of the field, that there's not really anyone that's on the same lap as anybody else. The closest we've got elsewhere is actually our GT3 field. Marce Kastrzyk is on the same lap as Lee Russell, but they're still 48 seconds apart, so they're not close enough to each other to really challenge. That's mainly pit stop strategy difference that's caused that particular gap. So they are still 3/4 of a lap apart, those two, or 2/3 of a lap. And with the amount of time that Simicic has been gaining, Simicic and Mrocek, how much they've been gaining leading up to this point, this is why we're focusing on this battle. And again, with only just over 1 hour to go, we've done over 460 laps, and we are talking about a gap that is less than 30 seconds. Absolutely brilliant stuff. So it's all going to be down to who can manage the traffic, who can manage their tiredness, because again, there's also worth noting is Shenko's been in there quite a while. Simicic has not long got in the car, so unless the final hour for the number 17 car is going to go to somebody else, Shenko is going to be really, really tired. But we will see. Is Shenko coming in this time? No. He is remaining out there. It's going to be down to when that one pits. Oh, as we can see the highlights reel, that was when Darius Andre kind of started his rather unusual behaviour, but he seems to have settled back into the rhythm in the number 15 car. And again, Simicic is straight back on it. He's really getting straight back on pace. 21.0 last time and 22.0 for Ashenko. So assuming it's around about a minute pit lane loss, well, it'd have to be more than that, because that would put the gap at 37 seconds if that is the case. So we'll have to wait to see how long Ashenko's pit stop is. Because if they go for a full 53-second stop, and you've also got to bear in mind the time slowing down and speeding up to around the pit lane speed limit. It's getting closer and closer as each lap continues. So 18, the best car is not out of it yet. What does Hashenko do as he now catches the back of Ivan Aguado? Ooh, dances around him quite nicely. I'm assuming he's not coming in this time then, if he's just gone around the Aston. No, indeed he does. He can't go on too much longer. So it's around sort of 4-ish laps between the two cars that we're looking at as the highlight reel has come to an end. Ooh, I say, you're just seeing those little twitches in the 17 car. Every time he's sort of trying to put the pound down a little bit more, it looks like the car's starting to... Ooh, wow, that got loose and he's gone too deep. Oh, Denis Hashenko's gone too deep into Decido Largo. You saw the car get really loose there, going into the corner. So he either was just too late on the brakes, or just didn't want to slow down. I'm not entirely sure, but he's there. He's gone on the grass. That's what's done it. He's just touched the grass, trying to open up his line through Decido Largo, and that's sent him off. Oh, that's going to play very nicely into Burst's hands. How much longer can Denis Hashenko keep on going in that 17 car? That is really the golden question. Not he as a driver, as in he in this stint. Surely he's got to come in fairly soon as he goes on the inside of Michael Pedersen in the YID Simsport car. We do get to see the rest of the field. It's just unfortunate that we only see them when they're being lapped. Like I said, this is why we haven't really paid too much attention to the rest of the field. We haven't ignored the fact that they're there. It's just they are quite spread apart, unfortunately, at this stage in the race. The only two cars on the same lap as each other in class is GT3, which is, as we said earlier, Kasperschek and Lee Russell. And there is Lee Russell in the 404 Glam Racing Audi with the Deuces number 15. Oh, that Darius Andre scooting around him. Oh, that's going to be close to on the grass, but he does manage to keep it going. Good job. And we are getting to the top of our penultimate hour. Just over 1 hour remaining. Oh, that was nearly Lee Russell onto the grass there. And Denis Hashenko still not showing any sign of coming in. There you go, you can see the two picks in the pictures. There's Hashenko in the top and Simincic on the bottom. 20.0 last time, a 20.2 for Simincic on those last two laps, a 22.8 for Hashenko. That was down to him wandering off the road, coming through Decido Largo. That time was a 22.4, so he's lost pace in that car. I can't imagine that's damage. I think that's tiredness that is causing the 17 to slow down, and Simincic, obviously fresh to the cars, fresher to the car certainly, he's absolutely capitalising on that difference. Although Simincic now has a couple of cars to deal with. Who's he got? I think that is the... I'm trying to identify who that was. I think it was the Juice's GTE car, I think. Or one of them was. There's a Hashenko with no one directly ahead, so can he get back on the pace? Only time will tell. Well, like I said, it's also possible that they are trying to do one less stop than the 18 car. Speaking of, Simincic is just about to head over the line once again. Very much in nothing to lose mode for them, because even if they throw it into the wall, they'll still come home second at 20.3 on the board. So they've got nothing to lose. They may as well just throw all caution to the wind. They cannot drop any further. There's only 2 DPIs in the race. And in comes Hashenko, right at the top of the hour. So I reckon he's got to pit again, or this is going to be one really conservative lap. Yeah, it will be a very short stop, very true, but the pace advantage has been with the 18. Oh, Simincic, that's close to the Geta Husik car. that is the top of the hour. One more hour to go. So at this point, we'll have a word from the corporate sponsors.
The 2022 Endurance eRacing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Sten Goldman, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN.